Happy Wednesday to everyone joining us. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is a interesting day, but it is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. And as you may have seen or guessed, happy CPI Day. We certainly have a lot of catalytic price movement to anticipate in the next 30 minutes. Until then, we'll kind of see if there's any opportunistic preparing and planning that we can do. And we'll talk about a few other things going on today. But overall, I think the main driver is going to be the market's reaction to this data, along with the implications for the rest of the week. So a couple of short term items just from the fact that we are entering earnings season. We had two stocks that are coming into their earnings. First and foremost is Delta. If we look at their expected move on the week, it's about a $2 expected move as of yesterday's pricing. Based on Monday's pricing, it was a little bit higher. And ultimately, Delta did hit its expected move high yesterday. Into earnings, however, since we closed a bit high in price, we did see about a plus or minus $1.50 of price movement off of the earnings reaction itself. And, not to say that the technicals aren't in play during earnings, it's more of an option-driven movement, especially into the actual report. But there was sort of a swing high that Delta responded to quite well, pulling us back in. And really where it's located, the edge here is a little questionable. It certainly was a negative or pullback reaction to earnings, but really we're just looking at the market kind of speculating long and then coming back into previous prices at the beginning of the week. Not really a clear breakdown quite yet, certainly a rejection off of our swing high. We also had Fastenal, less of a major day trading stock, but it does have some decent moves if the earnings is impactful. You'll note here for Fastenal, option market is not as liquid. Yesterday, we only traded about 15,000 calls and puts, so less of a gauge of price movement, but it does have a weekly series closing this week. And at least for that, the market was pricing about a $2.70 or 80 point expected move. If we look at yesterday's close, right around 50, and where the market has moved to about 46.50, that's approximately $3.5 of movement, little higher than what the option market was expecting. But remember, this is all about where the market closes on the week. And at least for that volatility, that's pretty much slightly in line. It's definitely a little bit further than the option market was anticipating. So interesting move, and it's also technical in nature because we do have our 4-hour low being tested. So this would be an interesting opportunity if the market goes bullish. This would be a nice sort of low test. Otherwise, if we see some stronger closure below this, we could easily break down further. It's just coming off of a pretty wide swing high. That usually does not happen on that first test. So outside of those, I think the only other note from yesterday is our S&P expected move. This week, I have it up here, about a 95 point expected move. And you'll notice that the pullback or the drawdown into the close yesterday brought us pretty much approximately into that expected move. It's really clear on a 5-minute chart how precise that was yesterday. This actually was a trade I took into the close, a bit of a oversold kind of play, but also a reaction off of a known value zone in the market, about 3,800 for the SPX. And for the SPY, a little bit lower, started that position at 379. So when it comes to our location, this is a little typical of what we've seen recently into a CPI report, albeit there are some key differences, and we'll look at expectation of movement along with bullish and bearish potential opportunities. We'll need to see which one comes to fruition. But let's start off with our SPY here, and let's take a look at some of the higher level concepts that we often cover, where we're located, and obviously how it compares to our last CPI session. So first things first, we did see some profit taking yesterday. The market recovered slightly into the open. We definitely chopped, which was expected yesterday, maybe not the right location that I was expecting for the price chop to occur, but it was a very tough day to look for trends. There was relative highs, some relative lows, plenty of volatility in the morning, and that was sort of your best opportunity before we started to sell into the close. That was obviously another nice short opportunity. All of those are similar to what we saw prior CPI session. So if you recall, this is the day prior to the CPI on June 9th. During this time, there was a little bit of a report leak as to what the CPI was expected to be, and that ended up being essentially true. So the market was fearful of that reading. We broke a approximately 8-day balance in the S&P, and that of course led to our gap down open the day of CPI and continuation of selling. Now, all that's well and good. It looks very simplistic historically, but for the day traders among us, we might want to see how did that session look in the moment. And for that, we're going to just pull it back to that week, and we'll take a look at a 5-minute time frame, roughly where day traders live. And what you'll notice here is this is the day before. This is when we broke balance on a bit of a leak of what the reading was going to be. That was a complete, sell off into the close. See some similarities here from yesterday, but it isn't necessarily a balance break. It's more of just a pullback conceptually from our daily time frame. And then here is when we actually get the data report. So obviously another bearish reaction. We pull back in and then we start to sell. It's not necessarily straight down. There are some moves here back to the top side. And I want to comment mostly on the size of these pullbacks here. Might not look like much given the chart perspective, but we're looking at some pretty wide volatility coming into this reading. And especially as we get into the open, you'll notice that the first 5-minute candle into the open is about 2.5 to 3 points wide. So this open that we're about to get into is going to likely be of a similar volatility, which means regardless of directionality, we need to prepare for the type of movement and obviously the type of risk that we could be taking into the first couple of 5-minute candles. You'll also notice as I kind of move forward in time as the open transpired, another large sell-off event occurred as we broke low of day. So it was technically a net bearish session overall, but a lot of the volatility actually comes in as people are basically starting to stop out, along with that continuation of stronger selling into, at least at the time, about 390, which was another high value node historically. We did bottom out on that session, and we even had a counter rally. This is certainly tradable in our time frame. It also has some channel structure, so there may be a period today that has similar highs and lows. Being able to anticipate what does the afternoon trade potentially look like. This certainly was opportunistic for a scalper, someone who maybe just takes these waves in and out and doesn't necessarily care about the pricing at 390 or getting into position at 390, but more or less takes a counter trend on a higher time frame, a pullback on a higher time frame. And then, of course, last but not least, our afternoon and closing session, which was another sort of liquidation into the close back to our 390 print. So why do I bring this up? And what does it look like compared to today? What are some similarities that we can kind of take from this? Let me pull back into just our 5-day, 5-minute. So right now, when we look back at where we pulled down, we did tag our trend line. This is our speculative trend line that's so far holding our swing lows. Market is not necessarily in a daily uptrend, but it is holding in a wedge formation. The market has made a lower high on the second daily pullback that we've seen. So that is also rough areas of resistance. We also noted that if we look at the first top and where we started to sell, this is where that lower high formed. So a test of resistance and then another drawdown into our CPI data. Now, short term, you're seeing, the market start to recover here. This may be a little reactionary from yesterday, just kind of our location in the market. We also are sitting close to 380. Now, 380 has become a fairly high value node for the S&P. You'll notice that there's a shelf of value here. It's not VPOC, but it is respectively tested in multiple sessions. It's got sort of a back test behavior to it. Markets tend to draw into this gravity zone, especially in times of uncertainty or anticipation of movement. We're also at the lower bounds of our SPX expected move. I brought that up earlier. So let's start to postulate the idea of a bullish or bearish move in the S&P. And obviously this can occur in pre-market because technically there is an hour between when we get the data and when we open. But for the bears to really take hold, they have to start to break yesterday's low. And they can do that on this rally that's occurring in pre-market, potentially against yesterday's resistance. If they swing up into yesterday's breakdown point, back test it, and then start to pull in as we get our data release, that could easily lead to a test of yesterday's low. If they want to continue further, we'd want to see that clear breakdown on volume, and we'd want to be a little aware of our VPOC. This is essentially where markets can stall and we can get some sideways trade, even though it was a downtrend that got us here in the first place. So if we do go bearish, this can be a target for potentially short trade today. It can also be a bit of a targeted trade. If you're looking at options today, you might actually consider some butterflies near these value zones. Even if we get selling, the market could easily close near VPOC, simply kind of putting us into a neutral state into tomorrow's session. All that said, the actual low end of our support is around 372. So you can kind of see the reactionary lows over a couple of different trading sessions. It also represents the lower bound of our VPOC value area low. You would normally see this on a shorter term time frame. I usually like to pull up a 10-day to kind of showcase it, but it doesn't necessarily coincide with price lows. It tends to coincide very well with price closure. So our VA low and a lot of the transactional value, at least from a standard deviation perspective, sits around 375 all the way to 372 if we get to those spikes. That would, of course, be secondary targets for the bears. And that, of course, needs to be facilitated by our breakdown, of which we might be setting up for that currently. Now, opposite side of the fence. Let's say you're a little bullish today. Reason being, you might think that the market has priced in certain aspects of this report. You might think that if the reading is in line or slightly under expectation, and certainly if the market move is supporting that thesis, you could basically be playing counter what a lot of the CPI reports have led the market to do, which is to sell off. And in that regard, you want to probably be looking a little bit more high level, higher time frame potentially at potential targets. One of the easiest ones you could do is getting us back to basically our Friday highs. So it's our first sort of lower high resistance. It's where we started this daily pullback. And that would easily be a return to 390. If you recall, it's a very important number on last CPI report. It's also where some option trading is occurring. So this is where we go into our option chain and say, if the market is bullish, are we prepared to go to that price level? And as we look at today's option series, I'm not necessarily looking too far out. 390, still one of our higher nodes on the call side. It simply is not necessarily the highest node in general. You'll notice 380 is much heavier on the open interest, and even through 3750, that 375 approach, that stands out much heavier than 390 or 3900. You compare that with our Friday series, which is also going to be where a lot of trade has taken place this week. And you'll start to notice that as we get closer to the price, the put side of the market still remains in focus. There's much more transactional opportunity and potential down here. And for market makers to move this market, especially if we get technical breakdowns, I think the option market facilitates more downside. However, this is the type of day that can set up short covering or short squeeze type scenarios leading into the end of the month. And certainly the setup is here for the bulls to take opportunity on. They just have to actually prove it. They're the ones who are always being tested, trying to prove market momentum back to the bullish favor. And of course, they're the ones who keep getting rejected, and the market, of course, making fresh lows. So they've built, bulls in this case have built speculative trends. They've built trending supports. They've tested it on yesterday's pullback. What they need to do now is basically change the structure into something that a bull would respect. What that can look like is basically rallying off of our low of day from yesterday, which comes into trend line. It comes into our 20 moving average, still a down sloping 20 moving average. So once again, really nothing noteworthy for the bulls except for them to hold one of our price levels. They could also start to just form short-term uptrends. One thing that happened yesterday was that they lost hourly uptrends in a lot of rejection off of the 50. They're underneath the 200 right now as well. This is a flatter moving average on the hourly. And this is something that the bulls could respond to, but they have to prove it in some type of test or behavior that a bull can kind of buy into. The most opportunistic would be a test of 380. So imagine the market drawing into 380. Imagine the market printing some sort of double bottom and then rallying from it. That would be a much stronger setup and obviously showcase a bit of a short-term reversal on the hourly, bringing it back into the bull's favor. They could also rally the market from the open. This one's a bit more questionable because we're running into a couple of resistance points. And really, they haven't trapped any sort of bearish stops, or they haven't really, set up any sort of bearish pattern that could facilitate a trap. So once again, the ideal scenario there is to pull in or pull down, move higher off of some sort of trap behavior and use the bear stops as momentum. That really hasn't set up yet, so obviously that's going to be up for the open to determine. The thing to be careful of on the rally this morning is just the fact that we can reject. We have a couple of zones that have showcased weakness. Yesterday's breakdown here is certainly the first example. And then as you just move higher, you're going to start seeing things like spike highs, pullback highs that fail. And then, of course, our daily lower high, which is essentially where the market can go to aggressively if we do get some breakouts starting. 390 is our level. You also compare that to the expected move. 39.94 for the SPX. This is for the end of week, but we saw the lower bound be tested already. And an example of a full move from low to high occurred last week. We actually pulled in early on last week's opening session, and then we pretty much had a straight rally from that point. Yesterday, we're definitely testing the lower bounds. It is technically a type of option risk level range, and if the market responds bullish, be thinking about the potential for breakout. This is all, of course, counter what the market has done, but it's something to consider, and it's certainly something to trade if the setup is there. Now, as far as the CPI expectation itself, we'll just go into that very quickly, and I think that'll kind of wrap up our session here. The market is looking at its inflation rate year over year. Its previous reading was about 8.6. We're looking at an expected consensus, an estimate of about 8.8. When you look at the trading terminal as well, which I think I lost my link here. Oh, no, there it is. When you look at the trading terminal as well, you're going to see things like your inflation rate year over year. You're estimated about 8.8, previous 8.6. This is not the CPI. That's going to be a different reading. But the estimate for CPI currently year over year is about 5.7. So whether you're looking at month over month changes, they're obviously coming in fairly high as well. When you think about increasing 1% per month, that can sort of aggregate to about 12% per year. It's very high readings. Your CPI as well coming in line with last month's readings. Really what the market is likely going to kind of focus in on are these two values here. Are we seeing, comparative to last June, a spike estimate compared to what the market's expecting, and is it higher than that 8.8 or 5.7? If it's in line or lower, that can trigger some bullish momentum. We talked about the idea of maybe some bear stops, potentially trap scenarios, setting them up to look for lower prices and then the market not giving it. Also be looking for a little bit of a trading channel. The volatility here does not have to be one-sided. Just be prepared for 2 to 3 point swings in both directions, maybe with a net bearish or bullish lean, depending on how the channel is structured. All of which, goes to show we have a lot of opportunity today. Today is very likely to be a heavy market moving day. All of the setup is there, the behavior of the market is there, and certainly the participation is there as we are, waiting with bated breath. The thing to remember today is whatever direction is chosen, you might want to trust it in some regard until you see some very clear indication that that move is over. Double bottoms, bear traps would indicate that a bearish reaction is over, and momentum to the upside does have to watch out for key resistance zones. Be aware of the possibility for this market to turn and for those pullbacks to basically not bounce. They could almost waterfall sell round reversal from a high point. And that would, of course, be a very strong bearish signal, especially because bulls like to lean into that morning momentum. Last but not least, overall, our risk levels and readings on different asset classes are still high. Watch volatility today. Today would be a good day to kind of keep an eye on whether some of your vol ETFs, UVXY, SVXY, or VIXY, any of those are sort of ETN using vol futures. If those are rallying into a down move, you might want to respect the fact that this is facilitated by participation. People are going to hedge into a breakdown of the SPX expected move this week. And if that doesn't happen, especially on, let's say, a down move, and you don't get vol spike readings, that might be a little bit of a trap. That could set up the play to counter, downside momentum. So couple of tools for the trade today. Volatility is going to be a little bit of a hopeful leading indicator on some of the shorter term moves, but really respect your levels today. Understand that the volatility is going to be higher than average typically, and moves can change very quickly. The size of the retracements is likely to bring into question the stability of the move. That's going to lead to potentially some channel, just some counterplay if we don't have a clear downtrend or uptrend that forms. So all that said, trade safe today. Be on the lookout for some hopefully some setups into the close as well. Hopefully the market gives us one or two date time ranges to play for big moves. And ultimately, just kind of keep your risk in mind, because the width of the volatility is what you have to survive in order to participate. So with all that said, I'm going to shift over to pre-market prep. Thank you. Trade safe once again, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys are doing good and had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm.
Good morning, Carlos. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just
man.
waiting
Glad to
for
hear
this
that.
number to come out. We got about 90 seconds here.
Yep.
It's going to change everything. I was messing with Jared earlier about there's no reason to prep, which, the gappers list is going to, except for some of these, that there are a couple that actually have catalysts here, but it's all going to change here in about a minute and a half and then grow throughout the show in one direction or the other would be my guess. But
Yeah, see how this goes. Guys, for those you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up over for Jarek joining us every Thursday, Monday through Thursday at 8 a.m. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. All right, couple of seconds here till we get our number, and let's see how this goes. Big day for overall market, inflation, and everything else that has been affecting the economy lately. Let's see here. I know Delta had an earnings last night, right? Or this morning?
This morning.
This morning, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they had earnings this morning, and they reported some pretty good stuff, but having issues like all the airlines are.
Yeah.
I do want to see. We wait on that. 15 seconds, so a little bit of dead air for a second as we wait for this and hear this. Oh, S&P, there you go. Look at that. Look at the SPY all over the place, buddy.
ooh.
Woo!
Yeah.
9.1. Way
Wow.
over expectations.
Wow.
All right.
And there she goes. That is wow, did not expect
That's going to
that.
be rough for the
Yeah, yeah.
VIX.
Did not expect that, man.
That's kind of what I was leaning toward.
I was
That was
expecting
my
9, 8.9, but because it's just everything's seen but 9.1.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I was expecting it to be quite a bit hotter. That's 9.1's a nasty number.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going. Watch this downside list grow as we get going here.
Yeah, yeah. Let's quickly look at the ones we had. Notice how everything that was gapping up just disappeared.
Well, I mean, we were
Yeah.
we were positive on the SPY, and then in a matter of a minute, we're now 1% down.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Let's look at Delta, Fast, and U because these were here before the madness. That
go
this
for it.
list is going to grow pretty quickly. So let's look at these. They have their own catalyst. Let's look at U. U is down 11.6, and this is Unity Software. It has a good pre-market activity norm. So I don't know what's driving this, but there's definitely something going on with U this morning.
Yeah, they're acquiring a company called Iron Source, and so Unity's been beaten down over the last year or so, 6 months, 7 months. So this acquisition not taken super well.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I've never traded this, so I don't know how it trades. But
Me neither. It's not a low flow stock, guys, but it's moving very aggressive today.
definitely
40,
got volume and moving. So
yeah, got to be very careful with this one. We'll put it on deck here. I want to look at Fast and then Delta before this list goes ham. Fast here is down 5% and not looking all great pre-market. Daily also very light on volume. I don't recall. I think we looked at this before. Can't remember.
we've looked at it. It pops up sometimes when they have earnings,
Yeah.
which they did this morning.
Okay.
It's not the greatest trader of all time intraday.
Yeah.
The volume's a little sparse, as you mentioned, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm probably
I
gonna
think
keep it off my list.
given
Yeah, 'cause
it's going to
today-
take time for our list to develop a little bit, but I think
Yeah.
I think we'll have a lot better things as we get closer.
Yeah, so far Unity is good, U is good. Let's look at Delta. Delta here, they had earnings this morning down 4.3, almost 900,000. But they had a good day yesterday. So you said they also reported some good numbers. Just the airlines just keep getting crushed, and I'm sure this today is not going to help them.
Yeah, they beat revenues, but their earnings were light, and they were discussing some of the travel issues that they've had and those improving. But yeah, I don't remember the last time, man, that we had a number that sent the SPY down 1.5% in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Look at
It's
this.
been a while.
It's it hasn't been this shocking, at least, right? Because everything is built in. Usually, you know what to expect, and what we've been expecting, we are usually hitting that pretty much so far. Even when with the Feds and everything else has been important for the overall market. This was not expected here, guys. So you're seeing that big drop there, as you said, Norm. So yeah, it's going to change things. As you can see here in our gappers list now, which has become massive and it's going to continue to grow.
Growing.
Today's going to be one of those days where you can look at your favorite stocks, guys, right? Everything's going to be moving with the market. I have U and Delta here, which are probably the only ones that kind of have their own individual catalyst. Whatever was in the green, I can't remember now, went away there. So
Mara, Twitter, and Tech TECK that were in the
Twitter.
green. Twitter is still hanging on in the green here. I mean, obviously we've got the Musk stuff going on. Mara was green. Bitcoin and cryptos were green, and they've gone red on this drop. Or Bitcoin's just hovering right around yesterday's finish. So
yeah, one I will keep on deck here is going to be Twitter. So I'll definitely have Twitter here up 1.3 right now, trying to hold. You had a big day yesterday after just a disaster, right? Gap down and sold off on this was Monday. Right, so recovery yesterday, real nice, and then today, we're trying to keep going up here, but obviously things can change now. But I still like Twitter. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch, given everything that's going on around it. So definitely want to have that on my list. All right, so coming back over here, leading the way, AMC down 3.6. Again, all of these guys, they're really not in play. Again, just following the overall market. We're going to look at our favorites. Apple which can trade very well. Look at this one, just basically doing whatever the SPY is doing. So Apple will be on deck for me. We know we like Nvidia. Nvidia actually down nicely 2.8 right now with 501,000 shares. I like Nvidia on days like these when the market is kind of taking control of things. We got Delta. That's going to be my travel company for today. CCL could be another one that, again, continues to get hit when stuff like this happens. That's going to be a good possible for me. And I'm going to stop there. I think that'll be my list for now. And we'll give it to the room and see what you guys like on your end that maybe we're not covering here. Norm, anything that you're going to be looking at on a day like today?
I mean, I really liked Apple's. If you rewind and look at the daily, I love that the daily on
Yes.
Apple. But with what's transpired in the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes, that's unlikely to play out very well. We'll see how it reacts. We'll see what it does.
Yeah. I agree. Apple has a beautiful, beautiful daily. We talked about this yesterday as well. And again, just changing directions the way things are right now. Looking at Nvidia also towards the downside has a very, very nice daily as well here. So we'll see. We got a couple of levels we can hit here. I definitely like Nvidia on my list. Let's take a look at one of our favorites, AMD. AMD also to the downside, looking pretty nice here on the daily also. That could be a good possible. Just don't want to fill up my list with Apple, Nvidia, and AMD at the same time. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. What do you guys? Yes, SPY is dumping for sure. Let's see what it does here. This will be key. What it does in the next couple of minutes before the open, right? We had the big drop here, obviously. How much further is this thing going to affect the overall market? All right, take them to the room. You guys like Tesla? Tesla's another one that can move. That's going to move very well with the SPY also. So if you're looking to play, the volatility that we're getting now on the overall market, Tesla's a good one. Trading very nice this morning. I'm not going to add it on here because, again, if you look at Apple and Nvidia, these are my two kind of SPY plays for today, right? These two here. So, but you can add Tesla as well. It's another one that is going to get great volume. Mike taking trades on Apple already, so he's partial on Apple. Mike, what was your trade there? Did you take it for? I'm assuming a short play. So very nice, getting some pre-market action there very early on. Mike, any of your first day back and you're already trading pre-market, man, you're on fire and aggressive today. I love it. Usually Mike is more laid back and chilled, but today he came in gunning, man. Very good, very good. All right, TSM. This one is I just think today you're gonna find something better, guys. I really do. And if you want to play semiconductors, maybe MU if it's doing anything. I mean, it looks better, but not by much. I just don't think today's the day for TSM. At least not right now, right? That's just my take on it. Looking at everything else we have here. Things are looking a little bit better. But yeah, TSM is in the green. I agree. Amazon could be another one. Again, another one that's going to move with the market as well. Amazon gets great volume, has become a really good trader for us as far as intraday plays. That's also could be on deck as a possible.
Just makes me sad how commercialized Prime Days become. It's like they've lost the sense of why we actually celebrate the holiday.
And I got a few people on YouTube that I follow. They do either video, graphics, or they just do whatever they do. It seems like they all got paid by Amazon to promote stuff because they're all promoting the same, not the same stuff, but very similar things. I'm like, dude, this is not a channel for this. So it's been so commercialized. It's unreal when you have your favorite YouTubers, advertising Prime Day. I'm like, what are you doing? It's insane.
See Michael on YouTube at least got my joke.
LOL. We're gonna be for which one? For
I'm talking about Prime Day and the true sense of the holiday.
Oh yeah. I completely missed
the meaning behind the holiday.
I completely missed it, but you're right though. It's been so commercialized though. It's insane. It went over my head, Jonathan. I got it now. It went over my head. But I'm telling you, I got a few YouTubers I watch. I'm like, they're all the same thumbnails. I'm like, you guys even work for Prime. What are you guys doing? The highly stuff. Okay, very good. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Roku. Let's look at this is who gave me this Roku. I missed your name. Jose gave us Roku. Jose's been active in the chat quite a bit lately. Thank you. I just it's a tough day to try to find things that are doing their own thing this morning so far. But if you look at Roku here, you're down 2.6. You just don't have the volume, man. 60,000. And we know Roku doesn't get the volume during pre-market. but it's gonna be tough to put Roku like over at Nvidia, Apple, even Twitter. That's not doing a whole lot, but that there's so much news behind it. Um, it's gonna be tough, man. I think this is. I know it's early, but this might be my final list right now, right? Um, it's gonna be tough to put Roku on that list. Looking at the spot, Amazon. Ben gave us that one. That is good. Amazon, I have it on my secondary. What else, guys? Anything else you guys like this morning that maybe we haven't covered? Let me go back up, see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. All right, guys. It's gonna be a easy day for a watch list.
Yeah, we'll probably get some new stuff. Holler out, guys, because I've turned off Squawk so I can talk to Carlos and everything and focus. But if you guys see anything with fresh news that comes up,
Yeah,
shout
let
it
us
out.
know. Baba's daily does look good. We're getting a drop here. I like the daily for a possible short if we can lose this 110. It hasn't been as great as it was last month. Last month was incredible, at least for me. But maybe today could be a good one. Let's go, Baba. Baba on there. Um, hey man, you're just waking up. Any news I missed? You missed a few numbers that that kind of moved the spot a little bit here.
It's a little concerning. It's tried to bounce and it's holding here right
Yeah,
at
it didn't.
375. We'll see how long it's going to take it to lose that.
Yeah.
As I speak, it begins to start to try. So
Yeah. It's looking. I don't know. We'll see, but it's looking rather weak at the moment for a bounce there. Maribeth, RYTM. Let's see what we got here. So RYTM right now, big day yesterday. Not my typical type of stock to watch. The volume is really light right now, up 5.4. It looks a little crazy though, as far as the daily and the volume. So got to be careful with this one. I don't like it for me personally. I don't think this is a stock that I want to watch, especially today. Today you're gonna have so many other stuff moving that I think this can go on the sideline. Norm sold his BYND. What is BYND up to? Nothing. At $29. BYND. This thing was up at what, 200 plus? Yeah, $29. So nothing going on with BYND right now. PT News yesterday and today. Okay, so yeah, that might get going, but I don't like it for right now and for today. I just think this list is so active at the moment that even our secondary list, right, is looking really, really exciting compared to our main list. We have AMD, we have Tesla on our secondary, which is starting to drop down to this. Look at the levels that we had here from before, 674, heading towards that now. That's going to be a good support for Tesla if we can hold, and we have 650. But yeah, it's not looking good. SPY continues to drop, trying to make a new low here. So not looking great. I like Delta today because they do have a catalyst. And if you look at their pre-market activity, this looks very good. 1 million shares traded already. So that's going to be good there. And then Unity here down 15% with a decent pre-market activity. Just keep in mind on this one, guys, you got to be very careful with the number of shares you take. And this thing is up at $48, $40 just at 7 a.m. And now we're down at 33.75. So it can move very aggressively, as you can see there. Payback alert giving us Nvidia. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that today. All right, guys, I think we're all set. Mara short squeeze. I don't like Mara, man. Jerome, Mara has been one that it's just, again, it's losses trading for me. The last couple of days, you saw some good action here, right? But for the most part, hasn't been a great intraday trader. I don't know about short squeeze on this thing, though. Be careful with the numbers that we have now. This is not good for Bitcoin or any coin, really, or any stock, really. So are you down 3.8 right now? I'm not sure if you're going to get a squeeze today. Has anyone else had issues with DAS being incredibly slow this week? Brett, no. I haven't had any, so just make sure you
change your quote server.
Yeah, I was gonna say
check your connection, or I don't know.
Yeah, do something like that. You should be fine. What else? Okay, all right, excellent, guys. Got short on Delta. Nice, Sen. Very good. All right, I'm ready to go to announcements, man. Let's do that. Let's go to announcements. Because we really got to just kind of wait out, see if anything else pops up. But for the most part, my list is set for today. I will look at CoinEx because Coin's making some noise here. But if we look at the webinars for this week and coming up, we had a good webinar yesterday by our main man Thor there. Let's see what's coming up for the rest of the week.
Yeah, just a reminder, every Monday night, moved back to its prior original time, 8 p.m. Eastern, the onboarding and technology class with Carlos. Every Monday night, open to all membership categories. So if you're new on a trial membership, on the intro membership, go check it out. Get things started right with BBT. Tuesday nights. Next week, we've got Artie at 8 p.m. Eastern. And the following week, Andrew's going to be talking about his risk management strategy. Those are both Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, psychology. Tonight, we've got Kreta, 5 p.m. Note her special time because she's in Europe. She's going to be talking about imagining your way to trading success. And then next week, Mike will be talking about how to set up a psychology training plan. Thursday, we've got mentorship. Ed's going to have he's going to have some after hours trade, so get ready for that. But 11 o'clock a.m. with John, 4 p.m. with Ed doing some after hours earnings trades, and then 4:30 he'll get into his actual mentorship discussion. 8 p.m. Thor. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator at stocktradingsimulator.com. Don't forget about Trading Terminal either. Somebody asked earlier how I heard the CPI data so fast. That was on the audio at tradingterminal.com. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't been in the chat room, you'd like to try it out, come over and visit us. Go to bearbulltraders.com. Scroll down about halfway down the page. You'll see the membership table. On the left-hand side, you'll see that intro membership. It'll give you 7 calendar days in the room, 5 trading days, 5 market days. That is not a recurring payment. It's just one time. Then you have to go choose another membership category if you'd like to continue on. Use the promo code PreMarket24 to get a discount off the normal $39 rate. And then Read 50 still active. We'll see how much longer it is till he tells me to shut it off. But you get half off the Elite Annual membership and a free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed.
All right. Thank you very much, Noah. Appreciate that. All right, folks, let's get to it. So right now, at the moment, let's see if our gappers list got any good stuff on here. I see coin is, let's go back to that one, down 5% here. So if I look at coin, this could be a good one because coin tends to trade a little bit better than Mara. So we'll look at coin. I'll add that to my list just to kind of have something different, right? We have Unity's software company, so kind of like tech. We have travel, we have social media, and we have a couple of tech companies here, Apple and Nvidia. So we'll see how these are all going to get affected. I also saw, what else? Roblox. I mean, surprisingly, Roblox has been trading very, very well, man. After June, we've really seen some nice trading on Roblox on the daily. So I think it was 3 days ago, maybe Monday or Friday. I can't recall. They had a real, maybe it was Monday. They had a really nice breakout above 40 here, and this was real clean. So they can trade very well. They've proven that they have actually gotten better as far as their trading. A lot of that has to do, obviously, this is what we look at the volume down here quite a bit. They've seen an increase in volume on their overall volume. Clearly there, you can see that they're trading a lot more volume, and they're having these spikes more often. So that's usually going to provide some good opportunities, some breakouts. You can see that there. That is happening quite a bit on Roblox. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to add Roblox to my list as well. I think this is a good one. Today we can be picky. So anything that I cannot short, I'm going to get rid of. Like, what was the stock that we couldn't short yesterday, man? That was just, it was such a clear disaster. I mean, you just couldn't join the party on that one. I knew it was over. Was it Go EV? I knew it, man. This thing was, yeah, Go EV. It was so over its head here, man. It was just incredible. But again, no shares for short yesterday, none today. This was a clear one that's just like, all right, let's get back to reality, and it did just that. So it is what it is. Yeah, Jared, you're right. Once it hit $5, it was completely done. That was a shining moment there. And then from there, it was just short all the way. I didn't say yesterday because I hate putting a bias, especially for people that are watching us that are completely brand new. But I had such a bias on this stock, man. Like, this is not gonna hold. Such a bias yesterday, but unfortunately, we couldn't take advantage of it. Right. So that one today might also be good. I don't think it's going to sell off because now you're at as hard as it did yesterday. Because now you're at an area where you got some support, that some resistance that cannot become support. You're back at a situation where it can go either way now. You still don't have shares for sure, so it doesn't make it any better anyway. So yeah, Roblox is good. I like that there. Coin is good. And Coin is okay actually. Out of all the ones I have on my list, Nvidia, Apple. All right, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Is the SPY doing some stuff? Yeah, SPY's getting a little bit of a bounce here, so that's good. That's nice there. 373 low of the SPY at the moment, and that's where we saw support in the past. Right, a couple of days here in end of June, July, we saw a little bit of support happening there. So maybe that's where we want to kind of stop the buck at. Let's see. Let's see what it does. Yes, Maribeth, I was, man, it was just one of those things. I feel like when there's something so certain, like that one was, you usually can't trade it, and that and that sucks. And that was GoEV yesterday. Just couldn't trade it, unfortunately. So uh what is this here? Hold on, guys. I'm getting some kind of error on my software for whatever reason. It's making me do all kinds of weird things here on my vmix, but okay, we're set. All right, good. All right, guys. I mean, I don't want to start levels yet because it's a little bit too early. So we can get into questions. If you guys have anything you want me to look at, we can do that. Yeah, Megan, go EV yesterday. I think we're where we all try to short that. If you were with IB, you just couldn't take advantage of that, unfortunately. But yeah, it was such a clear disaster on that one. It's not many that you can see that okay, this is really gonna just drop off the face of the earth. That one was very clear. It's just an overreaction on the news. I know it's Walmart, and Walmart can get things going, but it was a clearly overreaction there. Um, Okay, let me just turn this off here. Hold on a second, guys. I keep getting this pop up. Okay, I think I fixed it now. All right. Let's get to our chat, guys. What do you guys have this morning? Any questions? Anything we can look at? I don't want to get to levels yet. It's way too early. We got a little bit of time. Can you short coin? I think coin is shortable. Yeah, we do have shares for short on coin. We got plenty. See, that's what you want to see. You want to see that amount. We have 1 million shares that you can short here. So that's nice. That's what you want to see. When you're seeing like what we saw, 3,000 yesterday on a GoEV, yeah, you know that was not going to stay there for long. So when you see big numbers like that, million shares, I think 10 million Twitter, that's even better. Yeah, so you want to see big numbers like that. Apple 10 million, very nice. Yeah. All right. Is the market still pricing 75s for July? I think 75 is not definitely 75. I don't think less, right? So I think that's what you're looking at. We'll know more as as analysts get on the horn today later on and kind of put in their perspective what's happening with the numbers that were released now. But I think 75 is. I think the market's ready for another 75. I don't see why not. It might even be 100, like you said, right? Um, I don't think it's going to surprise anyone if they do that because what the Fed has been doing lately is just that they're willing to go, 75. I think they hinted that they're willing to go even 100. I know he's ready to do whatever he has to. So it won't shock us if he does a 75 or 100. So at least it won't shock me. It might shock the market because the market's so sensitive, right? Even when it expects something, it moves very aggressively. Now, this is a shocker for the market, of course. I don't think none of the analysts that I follow, nobody had 9.1, right? They had 8.8, 8.9. Some had 9. Very few had 9, but nobody had 9.1. Do you think we'll gap down more at the bell or bounce? Stocks only go up and down, but any predictions? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. We've seen it's all about how much of this has been built in already. Because I know the data comes out and you have 9.1, but I mean, we know there's other data that you can look at that it hasn't been great, right? So, for example, like Norm mentioned, he expected 9.1. He's not just basing that out of thin air. He's seen other data that kind of tells him, things are not well, right? And that's what analysts are doing too. So, there's got to be, smart people in the room that are trading big dollars, big funds that know this and kind of expect this. The SPY is going to do what it's does anyway. like it's doing now. But I think this is not a complete shock to people that are always watching this data and putting data together, right? It's just my expectation. So is a lot of this built in? Are we ready to have a rip off your face day? We've seen that happen, guys, where the market is okay. We're here. From here now, let's go rip higher. We've seen it so many times. So you just got to wait and see how things are going to play out. This right here, although this is bad, I don't have a short bias going into the actual trading day, right? When we actually hit that 9:30 bell, I know the stocks I'm going to be watching. I'm just going to be looking for opportunities. Where's the volume going? What is the trend? What is trading well, up or down? And then we're going to take advantage of it, right? The price action is king. I know you can look at so many indicators, but the price action is the most important indicator. Is that price action and what the candles that just finished forming? What are they telling you? What kind of pattern are they building for you? You can look at you can have your EMAs, your VWAP, your S levels, level two, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, the price action is king, right? I think these indicators are there just to kind of help you make the best decision possible. But we'll see what the price action tells us. That's never wrong, right? Coin HTB. What's HTB? Is that high trading something, or is that a ticker? What does that HTB stands for? I don't even know. Hard to borrow. Oh, hard to borrow. Really? I don't think so. I don't think it's hard to borrow because at least not with IB, we have a million shares. Again, can that go very quickly? Yeah, if everybody decides to short it, but I doubt it. I think a million is more than enough. It's not 10 million like Twitter and Apple, but I think a million shares to short is pretty decent here. Oh, on TOS. Okay, so maybe TOS. Okay, yep. Yeah, depending on you, because that's going to be broker related, right? Depending on your broker, they'll decide how many shares they have available for you. But we have plenty with interactive brokers here. I'm sorry, yeah, with interactive brokers. So maybe TD doesn't have really the best short at times for some tickers. For some. All right, guys. 8:57. My list so far, we have Unity. Let's take a quick look at that one. This one is just continues to sell off, man. Now it's down 16.5. The concern with this now is just it's getting so extended. It might not give us an opportunity here to take it short for the market open. We got plenty of stock inventory here, 1.2 million available for sure. So this is good. Daily looks nice on this, but we're hitting some levels that I would have liked to hit on the way down if I was in this trade, like this one right over here. So we're hitting that now. That can the further we go away from the previous day close, the likelihood this thing can now bounce back up, right? And I give you that nice drop. So still a good one. I still like the daily on this. It has a negative catalyst plus. If the market continues to drop here, it can drive it even further down. I'm going to mark down some levels here, 32.96 on this one. We do have another one here, 31.87. That's pretty good. Notice this seems close. But notice the price on this, man. This is 33.28. This is 31.87, right? So you got a big drop there as far as dollars. So that just tells you got to be very careful with the number of shares you take here. As I mentioned earlier, this stock is not a low flow stock, but it can move very aggressive through dollars very quickly. Again, 40 is the high today, and 32 is your low so far this morning. On a beautiful pre-market activity. Great volume too, guys. 3.8. The spread is nice. I mean, this one is looking real good today. Definitely one of my favorites on the list. And by it having its own catalyst, you know that it's going to trade very well, regardless of what the SPY does today. Towards the top, we do have of the price action 35.77. Another area where you're seeing a lot of support here, resistance, support, and some more support here. So 35.77, you definitely want to have that on your list. You kind of flirted with that a little bit this morning there, and not quite, but almost an area. And then you also, I know the pre-market high is all the way up here at 40.40, right? But you have to mark this down. I mean, this right here, guys, clearly 37.53. You can see the resistance you're having there. As far as the pre-market alone, if you look at the daily, does that match up with anything? Not quite. It's a couple of days opening closing right around that 37.53. So maybe, but for the most part, still a level you want to have on deck here. And I think you're pretty much all set on you here. So that's looking very good. Great volume this morning, great pre-market action, getting a little bit of a bounce here from the lows of 32.96. Here's Delta with earnings today. Again, they didn't have a horrible earning report, but just overall airlines are just not doing well during this time. 32.42 is the high of the pre-market on this one. Towards the bottom, we do have 28.18. That's a good level to put on there. And then below this, when is the last time? We're sitting at a good level on the price too, by the way. If you look at it right now, this area here, real nice area of support that has bounced from in the past. When the few times we went below that, we did hit 28.18 here and here, and we'll see how that continues. Let's go over to the left. Wow, we haven't been down here some time. Even when we had a drop in March, it was not lower than this 28.18. So the last time we were hanging out here is going to be 2020 August September. It's the last time we were down to these levels. 27.08 just kind of tells you how bad things are with the airlines. They're regressing to some of these lower levels that had not been in some time. 25.91 and 24.40. Again, a stretch on these two, but 27.08 and 28.18. Depending how things goes, those can be definitely possible targets today towards the downside. Towards the upside, you have the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days and the high of the pre-market in the green. I mean, high of the pre-market is in the green, so we got a big range so far this morning on Delta Airlines. Here's Twitter. I think Twitter is going to be fun for weeks to come as we continue with the drama here. Yesterday, big day after the previous day being one that was just a complete disaster for them. I didn't think they could sell off anymore, especially after gapping down a couple of times here and getting below where Elon got involved. Like, this is where Elon got involved while we're dropping lower. It's just interesting. Maybe now that more stuff is coming to light with these bots. And again, I can help Elon send him a couple of usernames that are bots. I mean, my inbox, by the way, is just full of these things. And with that said, guys, if I miss your message on Twitter, blame the bots. There's so many messages there. It's insane. 35.05, 34.32, high and low of the pre-market on Twitter. And then towards the bottom, previous day close and highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, doing a pretty good job. Pre-market action right now, we're getting into 1 million shares traded. So we got a good pre-market activity here, a little bit of a bounce, and we'll see. Again, big day yesterday after a big drop of the day before. I'm looking forward to see how that is going to end up today. Here's Apple. Apple is just a mirror of the SPY right now. So I guess the SPY is bouncing a little bit here, showing some, SY. That is horrible. Let's go back to SPY. Yeah, so here the SPY bouncing a little bit. So you got probably Nvidia, Apple doing the exact same thing today. We'll see where that goes. But again, Apple is a good stock to trade when the SPY is doing what it's doing today. Low of the pre-market at 142.37. Towards the bottom, we got a beautiful daily on Apple. And hopefully this situation doesn't destroy what we've been kind of getting on Apple here. It's just some really good trading. 140.04, 137.21, and then towards the top, a little bit of congestion here. We got highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close. There's just a whole lot happening there. So I'm hoping that we can get back to this 147 area here. Just continue to slam our heads against that because I'm looking for a breakout. Definitely looking for a breakout on Apple. We got some real good levels we can hit here and hopefully get going northeast going forward on this stock. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia also following whatever the overall market is doing. So these two, Apple and Nvidia, are going to be my go-to if the SPY starts, ripping our face off here after dropping very aggressively this morning. So we have 145.62, 140.63 towards the top. I'm just going to mark down the high of the pre-market, 152.70. And once you do that, I think you are pretty much set as far as Nvidia. Highs and lows doing a pretty good job there towards the top as well. Coin is interesting. I like the daily on Coin. The price action right now, I'm going to mark it right over here. It's going to be 51.63, so slightly below what the price is right now. But I mean, this is a great level of support that we've seen across the board here on Coin. And Coin has been trading very well, guys. It's one of the better trading Bitcoin type plays here. 45.81 is good, and then towards the bottom here we do have, this is a more of a weaker support resistance, 49.29. I wouldn't put too much weight on that, right? This is not a 51.63 here. This is not that, but again, I think it's still a good level to have on deck. You got a couple of days bouncing off of that as well. And Roblox, I think Roblox is one that you cannot sleep on. I think we went from trading really, really horrible, just not getting a ton of volume, to the last, since May and June, I think really we've seen definitely a change in the way the stock has been trading. So it's a lot cleaner now. Easier to kind of identify moves and trends here. 3607 low of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, we're looking at 3392, and then down here, let's see, towards the daily here, what do we have? Maybe 2996. Might actually be 30, but you can see here a lot of touches on the daily candle as well. There is one in between here. I don't want to get this too complex, but 3187, also another area where I'm seeing a lot of activity. 3170, 3180. You see here also a lot of days opening, closing right around that area. So that's a good level as well. This is what happens when you start putting this good daily, you start setting these really nice levels that are very clear to see. And that's what you want to see, right? We don't want a level that you have to dig for and search like crazy. You want something that's very clean and clear and that you can identify right away, right? And if you're looking to, guys, if you're looking to know how to set up these levels, since we got time, I want you guys, you can go look at our YouTube channel. We got some pretty good stuff here. But we have take a look at this video by Megan, right? So you'll be able to set up support and resistance. This video here is really, really good. So take a look at this. If you're new and you're looking to see how we set up these levels, go right over here. This one will show you exactly how to get that done and what we are looking for as far as support and resistance. So take a look at that. There's more stuff on here as well. Trading rules, pretty good stuff here. Huge mistakes not to make it, stay away from. Some really good videos. Look over at Trading Essentials. Eamon and Megan are just crushing it there. So take advantage of that. All right, excellent. We are all set, guys. I have my list, secondary list. I have Baba on here, which is popping up a little bit now. I like Baba for a short, though. I would love to see Baba lose this here and head down to like 102.50. That would be nice. Not looking at like that right now, but definitely one of my top possible. CCL's got good volume, doing whatever the overall market is doing this morning. So I got Nvidia and Apple for that. But if you're looking for a ticker that has a lower price, maybe if you want to trade something a little lighter, here it is, 892. It's a nice one, and it's moving very well with good volume following the overall market this morning. So you can look at CCL. Here's AMD. AMD also pretty much Apple and Nvidia doing the exact same thing. I mean, they're identical. You put these charts together, they're identical. So I got Apple and Nvidia. AMD, if you want to trade something with a lower price, you can look at AMD, right? Some people like to trade within a certain price range, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So AMD sitting at 74, Nvidia and Apple sitting at 140-ish or so. Tesla, if you want to trade a very high price, you could do that too. Tesla 680. Again, trading very, very well here this morning. Very, very active. Great volume, 1.2 million shares traded. That's a nice one as well. And you have Amazon also, again, following the overall market right now. Not a lot that's trading on its own besides Unity, which I'm hoping we can get some action out of this. And Delta. Delta is definitely trading on its own catalyst this morning. These two are my top favorites because they're not just doing whatever everybody else is doing, right? They're doing kind of their own thing. And also, I think Twitter will be the sleeper for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7? Shoot, I got one too many. I might just drop Coin. Because I definitely like Roblox more than Coin. I think Coin could be a good possible for today. Let's do that. And that is my list, folks. Cool. Let me get to my messages. What do we have here? I noticed sometimes the Qs move opposite of the SPY. Any reason for new people? Well, they're different underlying stocks for these two, right? Today I doubt it though. Today I don't think they're moving any different than the overall. Everything's moving kind of the same, right? So yeah, the Qs and the SPY doing the exact same thing. But keep in mind, right, the Qs are more reflective of NASDAQ and a lot of tech companies. So there are situations where you have sectors doing different things, right? If the tech sector is doing worse, like we saw a couple of weeks ago, with the tech sector which is getting crushed, right? The Qs are going to move a lot more aggressive towards the downside if the overall tech sector is down. So the Qs is more of a tech type companies that are the underlying companies of the Qs, and the SPY is really 500 companies that are in the SPY, or S&P 500, and that's going to move based on what those 500 companies are doing, not just the tech companies. So it doesn't happen often, especially in this market where they're not moving pretty much the same. But there's been situations where maybe one might be more aggressive than the other. Today's not the case. Today, these numbers are affecting them both pretty much the same. Kango for Megan's video is very instructive. Oh yeah, it's the best. Rustic Elegance, absolutely. You definitely want to watch whatever Megan throws out. You definitely want to watch it. Absolutely. All right, what else we have, guys? I think we are pretty much set for today. It's going to be an interesting day. Just again, don't have a bias today. It's so easy to have one. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a short bias, but I'm aware that we've seen things like this, rip your face off. We've seen that happen. I don't know how much reaction, how much more downside you're going to have towards below 173. And usually on days like this, I've seen many traders, you guys in the community, wait an hour or two to things really settle down, right? Today, I'm definitely waiting like 15 minutes. Like, I'm not going to be looking for opening range breakup on a 5-minute because I think I'm going to get stopped out quite a bit on that strategy. That is not a great strategy for today because you're going to have a lot of volume moving around. And there is such thing for me personally as too much volume when it comes to the ORB. There is such a thing. When you have crazy volume going in, you really can read the price action. Things get extended very quickly. And when you have that, it's very difficult to time these trades. It's all about timing when it comes to that 5-minute, 1-minute ORB. Today, I think those are going to be really harsh setups. I think the best setups are going to come when the SPY settles down a little bit after the bell, maybe 15, 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in. And then I'm going to start looking for these breakouts out of daily levels or pre-market levels. That is my play today because, again, I might be completely wrong. And someone asks, well, how do you know that? We don't know that, but we've seen what has happened over and over again with these type of markets. This is not the same first time we're seeing the SPY do this, right? Not the first time. We've seen this over and over again. So you kind of go with what has happened more often than not. And trading is all about probabilities. More often than not, I see these type of days be a little bit aggressive for the market open when it comes to that 5-minute ORB, which is my favorite strategy. So I'll be looking for breakouts out of levels today. It's a good one for me. And if you're getting stopped out a couple of times, take a break, sit back and kind of wait till things settle in. Do not force anything. And please do not backhold anything. Don't go past your stop today. It can go lower. It can go higher. If you're asking yourself that question, you need to get out of the trade. Follow your trade book, follow your plan. Very, very important. All right, guys. How are we doing on the likes today on YouTube? I have not even looked. We've been so busy. 216. All right, we could do better than that. We almost got 1,000 viewers, 939. We definitely could do better than that. And if our members can help us too, because what's happening now is, our ratio is so bad when it comes to the likes. Because what's happening is, with the issue I'm having on my end, members are joining the YouTube chat, but they're not hitting the like button. They're going back to the chat room, which I completely understand. It's a pain in the butt. And we're gonna fix that. But now our ratio went from really good to like, you guys suck. And that's not good. So if you could help us there, we appreciate it very much. I know it's a pain when I ask for that, but it does help the channel out a bit. Guys, closing bell yesterday. Did you guys take a look at that? If you haven't, please do so as well. We had Brian Shannon yesterday on, and man, he is just amazing. He's done a webinar for us in the past. That should be in the Education Center. He is just incredible. We're going to have him again probably for the years out. I mean, he's just that good. I love bringing him on. His attitude, his whole energy about the overall market, and some of the comments and sayings are just incredible. He talked yesterday about how frustrated he gets with professionals that show no risk management, right? Like these guys are on CNBC. You see these funds that have no risk management whatsoever. That kind of boils his blood. And it was great to see his take on that. So if you missed it, the recording is up and available. Make sure you catch that and definitely take advantage of the good insights. Today we do have we have a member. We have a member today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. He'll be joining at 4. So 3:30 today, 3:30 a.m. p.m. today. We're gonna have closing bell. Is it Darren? I forget the name. Darren Dillon. It's something with a D. But looking forward to seeing him today. He had an incredible equity curve, and he has found success in trading. So love to hear their stories from people that have been struggling and now find a way to become successful. All right, a couple of things here. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let's bring this over. Oh, thank you guys. 394. Appreciate that very much. Hitting some good likes there. Thank you. And if you don't hit the likes for the show, hit it for Megan. Megan is getting a lot of love in the chat today. So well deserved, Megan. You're doing an amazing job with these videos. All right, let's take a look here. Dash. Okay, Dash at the closing bell today. Nice, nice. I knew it was with a D. Looking for Dash, my man, to show us what he has for us. Also, follow us on Twitter. You're going to see his equity curve. I think I already posted it on Twitter as well. We'll look at that in a second if we have time. All right, so here we go, guys. Dima is looking at CCL, American Airlines, and AMD. Apple as well. Mike will be looking at Apple, which is going to manage the rest of this trade. Yeah, because you're probably done for the day with that trade, man. Amazing. Mike, for those that don't know, when short on Apple, and took advantage of that volatility. Let's look at Thor. Thor, he's looking at SPY, QQQ's, Nvidia, pivot bot alert as well, of course. And Thor did a great webinar yesterday, guys. Catch that. Some really good information about just overall market, who's buying, who's doing what, the reasons why things bounce. So really good technical stuff there for yesterday on yesterday's strategy webinar. Megan, QQQ's, and Disney today are on Megan's list. So while we wait, let's go ahead and let's see here. I'm gonna look over at Twitter today. Let's go to Twitter while we wait for Brian to come on. Brian, if you're ready to come on, just kick me off the mic, man. We're good to go. We are pretty much set here. My list is set as well. We went to the moderators list and we are gravy here. So looking at Twitter today. Yeah, so follow Artie, guys. Artie's always putting some great information on here on Twitter. And today, if I go to Artie, let's see. Yeah, here's the equity curve for our guest today at 3:30. Here it is. So you can see here. Let's click on this. There he goes. The aha moment. I love these. Can't wait to hear him talk about this right here. The aha moment. And man, this equity curve, look at this equity curve. This looks exactly as the little drawing I did. And this was before that was posted. Where's my little drawing here? I did a little drawing on this here. It looks exactly, how do I get to my my web page? Here we go. Exactly like I did here, guys. I mean, this is what we go through. The exact same thing. Beginner's luck, right? Then you realize, oh man, this is not as easy as I thought. Break even period, and this could last forever. Who knows? Sometimes you fall in here, you come back out of this, right? And then you find the consistency. It's the exact same thing. My handwriting is a little bit crazy there, but yeah, this compared to what he's showing is the exact same thing there. And we also did here's 48 votes. I'll send this to you guys so you guys can put in your votes here. We'd love to see where you guys are sitting here. But if you look at this, we are 45% are in the break-even period. At least they believe they're in the break-even period right here. Not that many votes yet. We need to get more votes on this to make this count. So let's go ahead and copy this link and send it to you guys so you guys can vote here. Put your vote in there. I want to see what that looks like tomorrow. And yeah, 1 day left. But yeah, a lot of people are in the break-in period. Some people, 10% are in the beginner's luck. I think sometimes you don't know when you're in the beginner's luck. I think it's hard to tell when you're in the beginner's luck. But if you are in the beginner's luck and you know that, that could be very powerful to know that you are in the beginner's luck stage. You want to be very careful in that stage, right? Because it could be very confusing to think you're crushing it, but you're really just getting beginner's luck. So if you know that you're in that stage, that's really good. All right, guys, thank you for joining us this morning, actually. Brian looking at Unity, Delta, Tesla, AMD, TQQs, and SQQ, and he's going to be joining us shortly. I have Twitter on deck as well. I have Unity, I have Delta with the earnings, and that is trading very well. Not following the SPY at all. This is what I like Delta. This is what I like Unity. We're looking at Twitter today, which I think is not following the overall market. It's going to be doing their own thing. And then everything else here is just whatever the SPY is doing. You can look at Apple, you can look at Nvidia. Even Roblox today is following the SPY, which I think is a good one. Has been trading very well. It's been getting great volume. And then we got some possibles here. Coin and Baba are really good. CCL, again, all of these for the most part. I mean, just smack the SPY on it, and that's what these guys are doing. So, guys, thank you so much. Trade safe over on YouTube. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you, Jared, for the pre-market prep. And if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up. 457. Man, you guys are the bomb. All right. Thank you guys. Trade safe. We'll see you guys today at 3:30 for the closing bell. And then tonight so it's Wednesday, we have Creta at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So she's going to be talking about her psychology webinar, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss that. She's amazing. You guys know. All right. Take care, guys. Trade safe. See ya.